Hi Gemini, it's Raina. So this is an abundance reading for the first quarter of 2017. This will go until the end of March, which I feel like, yeah, because there's 12 months in the year, so that's 3 months. Obviously, this is the last day when I'm recording the first month, so it's going to be basically February and March that this covers. And I had some time, in between my typical love readings and general readings, and I thought, what the heck, I've been meaning to do this, but with your sign, I'm going to be unveiling a new spread that I created. It's not like reinventing the wheel here. It's just I notice when I do other people's spreads that it usually feels kind of like awkward. It doesn't feel natural to me. And so even though basically things are going to be similar, when you do something, you put your own imprint onto something, it just tends to feel more natural. That's all. Now, what I wanted to talk about with you in terms of any transits in this first quarter that relate to your finances, one thing that I will say is that you recently had a full moon in Cancer, which is your second house of earned income. So I would be curious if any of you experienced any changes in the money that you earn, or even, money that you might have gotten from other people, because the eighth house was still activated with that full moon, if you noticed any difference in your money altogether. So because your second house is Cancer, this means your eighth house is Capricorn. And Capricorn is currently, or Pluto, I should say, is currently in Capricorn. And so this is going on until 2023. So it's not going away this year or this quarter, but you're going to have to really look at debts. In other words, if you have been a person that has relied on credit cards or something like that, you may find that ship has sailed. You're going to have to maybe live within your means or do something different, restructure, because Pluto will do it for you if you don't do it for yourself. They say something similar about Saturn, but Pluto is really this, overhaul, extreme makeover, so to speak. Whereas, Saturn is more of a, concrete manifester, like a disciplinarian. But Pluto is this, it's almost like an anarchist who is just like, whatever it takes to get the job done, to totally change the situation. And so there can be a lot of extremes with Pluto, transiting a particular house. So you may have noticed certain things with loans, or even like inheritances. Some, it doesn't have to be bad at all. It could be that, some of you get like maybe it's even a surprise. Maybe it's not even something you were aware of, but you get this inheritance and it totally changes your existence. Where you were in one bracket, economic bracket, now you're in a much higher one. So, just putting it out there. Also, I wanted to say too, so there's nothing like really in this time frame that I would say goes along with your money per se, but I will say that until October you have Jupiter in your second or your fifth house of creativity, love, but also your home business. So that's really kind of a good time during this time span for Geminis to, start something along those lines. You may be very successful and may totally broaden your life in maybe ways you never expected. So I'm going to lay out the cards and then I'll tell you what each position stands for. Oh my goodness gracious, I get that card so much when I shuffle. I just want to remember each position before I pick it. Wow. I think, Gemini, you have the most, I don't know if I would say just positive, but just very nice cards here. So the overall, this card represents where you're at right now financially, and we could say by extension career-wise. The Six of Cups represents, following your dreams. These would be dreams that you've had that go back to your childhood. So for some people, they're doing something that they have always wanted to do, and maybe they are doing, they're revisiting the past in order to do a certain thing. And it's kind of like if you get sidetracked by life and you go off on a different path and you realize, you get to a certain point, and I think that this is most apropos for people who are older, who are like at least in middle age, at least in their late 30s. And they've lived long enough to have done certain things, and now they are saying to themselves, it's time to do something I want to do because I tried to fit into the world and it didn't work. Obviously, not all these cards may make sense to some of you, but please don't be literal about it. Try to see how this can fit into your life, Gemini, because I really believe that all these cards can speak to you in some way. Maybe in interpretations that I am not applying to them. Every card has multiple meanings. I personally think that I'm getting that card not only because perhaps people are, maybe when, if we are having a mass awakening, it can extend both to love and career, where people are realizing that they were living somebody else's path and they fell into something that wasn't them, and they really feel like they have to go for it. And this can apply to like soulmates, finding that twin flame or soulmate, and feeling like you're living a lie, being in the marriage that you're in. And so, because I've been getting this card for everything, and just career matters, and it's amazing. I think that one of the reasons people don't go for what they want is because they've been so distracted by staying alive. And this is one of the things that I always, in my heart, since I was young, I just kind of like intuitively knew that was a trap. That if you believe in conspiracy theories, that the invention of money, the invention of these things existed to keep us distracted in that first chakra of survival. And I never allowed myself to get to that point. And I'm